All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Greenbox Gaming plays Delta Green Impossible Landscapes. I almost forgot the name, but I caught myself this time. I remembered why we're here and what we're doing. My name is Joe. I am going to be the handler for this operation, and I'm joined by three, I think probably three of my favorite role players. Three of my... And,
oh, wow.
Like,
didn't know where you're going with that.
Genuinely.
Huh. So we beat the random group
John
that you joined.
John asking the smart question. That's John. That's John playing Benedict.
Back in my day, when I did role-playing games, they didn't used to have these ridiculous intros.
Back in my day, before we got on, we were having a conversation. We were having a very much a back in my day situation.
And that is
kind of
2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should do a version of this where it's just all us sitting around with paper and a VHS is recording us.
Very retro. That's Brad playing Hank.
Hello. Hello
And of
there.
course, hello there. And then, of course, Dace playing Benji.
My name is Dace, and my opinions are more valid than ever.
Doesn't
line courtesy of Brad. I thought was hilarious.
Isn't it great how the older you get, the better your opinions are, the more varied, you know, Oh god. How are you guys doing? How you guys doing here? We're moving are we in the middle of spring, or are we kind of moving up and out of it, really?
Well, my sinus infection tells me that we're still caught up in it.
Okay. All right, cool.
There's still flowers outside my house.
Is that not a summer long kind of
No,
thing?
no.
No.
Oh, no. I've lived outside of the South too long, guys. I don't even remember anymore.
When the flowers
No,
go
it
away,
gets
it's
too
just
hot.
green, and either the tree survives or it dies.
The
At least
sun
in my yard.
burns the flowers off.
It's so hot.
And then
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
the suffocating humidity either drowns the flowers or they persist, and the strong ones prevail.
And the strong
That tells me
survive.
those flowers don't belong there.
Yeah.
We don't belong here.
Humans
The South.
In the South.
in the South, just overall. Yeah, I mean, it's a rough place. I mean, there's a reason I moved. There's a reason I left the South, you know, like after, you know.
Alligators.
Apparently, alligators are becoming more and more of a problem.
I mean, they're literal
Yeah.
dinosaurs, man.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, they're not going away.
well, it's
They
funny,
came
when I
to
was a kid, like, and when we were kids, Jean, like, there were, like, every now and then you hear, like, a funny story about a gator coming up the creek, or something like that. Because that's how we used to talk when we were children.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Cajun
worked so hard
accents.
to get away from that accent.
I love to hear you guys with this squeaky little prepubescent voices
gator!
going, Gator up the creek!
Paul, there's a gator up the creek.
He just a boy. He don't know no
Him don't know no better. Hold on, son. I'm gonna go get my boomstick. gonna come.
It's whooping time.
Are you okay?
Sorry. Sinus infection. Apologize in advance.
Yeah.
I
But no,
like,
it's-
I like how you said also. Well, when we were kids, Jean, as if Jean was never a kid.
Well, because
Child. I understand now, but the way it was phrased,
I
it
did
sounded like,
allude to that.
you know how when you think back about high school and you think about the people in high school and then you see them many years later, you're like, oh my god, you're not still a high school student because you've kind of trapped them in that high school time. That's like Jean.
Yeah.
Jean's always, but it's the reverse
Yeah.
of that. Jean's always been just like this.
yes.
This
He's
is
like a wizard. He was born fully formed.
yeah.
Yeah, with grey hairs and the beard. Yep,
Yeah.
it's true.
I think that's a wizard requirement. I
That
think
child-
you have to put that on the CV.
Yeah.
Going back to gators, I've always had a
Good.
morbid fascination with them. It's like from very early on, I've had nightmares about gators and crocodiles.
Really?
And yeah, this one time, Brad and Mario were trying to set me up with a girl, so we had a double date. We went out to a restaurant.
Oh, and she was a gator. Oh.
And she was
You
an
kept
alligator.
talking
They
about
tried
him.
to
I was
set
like,
me up with the fucking
all right,
alligator.
I guess that's what
I
he
just
likes.
figured this is what you wanted. No, but the problem is that you misidentified her as a crocodile, and that's a whole.
Oh
Ooh.
god, that's awkward.
Oh yeah, I used the wrong gum.
It's
Yeah.
control.
But
I've
no,
grown
she
as
was
a
not an
person since
alligator.
then, and now I know the difference.
Some anti-alligator rhetoric on your Twitter from a few years ago.
He get canceled because he hates gators.
Don't whoa! Don't use that word. Whoa, that's their word. Sorry,
Gator.
Cut the mic.
got the mic.
But she was not an alligator. She was one of her hobbies was dream interpretation, and so I started describing one of the recurring dreams I've had, which is this gigantic lake filled with bright green water and just filled with crocodiles, just like teeming with crocodiles. And she's like, well, usually water represents your mental state, so...
Oh Christ!
I don't think this is a date. I don't remember this at all. Are you sure this just wasn't like someone you were talking to that was around us?
Like someone.
No, I will never forget this because I was just mortified. I just spilled way too many beans to her.
I don't
I
remember
was
this
at
at
the-
all.
It was at the concourse. It's Mary's
Oh,
friend
that
that's the
girl.
director.
Yeah.
Brad's like, oh yeah, she
what were
seems
the
like
gators?
she sounds like she's in the dream interpretation. Yeah.
So wait, now I'm intrigued.
No, she's super
need
cool.
more. What? The mind is the water, and the gators
Mhm.
are popcorn.
The gators represent fear. So like I don't know, there's like the fear of delving into my own
Oh.
mind or something.
Because of the teeth.
Because of the predatory instinct, you know, and the death rolling. That's why they represent fear.
Yeah.
That's an interesting hobby for someone to have. You know,
I think some of the Dream Interpreter Union members would take issue with your classification of,
with the union.
of the expertise.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's
you know,
never
that's-
it's never good, man. Every time you interpret a dream, it's never good. Why can't it be like actually the crocodiles represent how cool you are because they're cool. You know, or some shit like why is it always like it's always something bad when we talk about
they represent how fucking metal everything is.
Oh, tight.
Tight. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well,
So, Joe, any banter for today? I mean, like, feels like we need some.
there's been
I
no
think
banter.
this is good banter.
This is
Now do
like
segue.
sweet, organic, free-range banter.
Segue, Joe. Segue.
Banter
now.
done.
Segue.
Segue now.
Go.
Segue now.
Segue.
Segue
Transition.
now.
On the fly.
Well, there was one thing I did want to touch on briefly.
Pervert.
This is why I don't like
This is a shift
any
in
of
the
you.
energy.
This is
What? You just no. You can't take it
You
back.
just
We're your
called us
favorite.
Role
We're your
players.
favorite 3 out of 3. We're your favorite,
you guys are my favorite. Well,
and it's recorded. No editing this shit.
there is something I wanted to ask you guys. And how would you feel if you found out that someone slept every night in a hoodie with their hood up? Like, and that was their go-to, like,
I
Brad
share
is smiling
I share
very
something
widely
very
right
personal with you, and then you announce it to the world.
no, you announced it to the world just now. I asked the question.
Oh, got him.
It's been traditionally very bright in the rooms I've slept, and I didn't want to buy one of those eye masks, so I just put a hoodie over my eyes.
You
There,
don't need to
you
justify
happy?
your choices. You don't need to justify them.
Yeah, you don't need to justify your weird things. Don't feel like you need to do that.
Some
for us.
people have blankies, some people suck on their thumbs, and some people sleep in hoodies.
Yeah, and
With
who can
fluorescent
say,
lights on all night
And who can say who's right
in a white room.
and who's wrong? Wait, is that how you're sleeping?
Wait, yeah.
Like it's some weird clinical, like an autopsy room, just the buzz of the fluorescent lights all night.
I said
Did
some
he tell you
people-
about the coffin?
No. I
That's
didn't,
the real weird part.
I did
in
not
my
know that
opinion.
was a part of this.
Filled with blood.
Okay. Well, now it just sounds
right.
like a sex thing, so.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Transition.
Transition. Well, speaking of weird things and weird things to be told about people, don't you fucking chastise me. The the crew, guys. Last time, do you guys remember what happened last time? Because I do. You guys have left Boston, full on left Boston, left it behind. After you guys came back from the night world, you went on the lam. There was some kind of back and forth between, like, are we going to serve Mr. Wild? Like, are we going to kind of go our own way? Like, do we contact Delta Green? Throughout that, the crew has found out that there's been some changes about them, that each of them seem to have some things they're changed, some different abilities, and maybe even some different drawbacks that are kind of been affecting them. And Benji put on this cloak of truth that you guys recovered from Samahina. It kind of took on for quite some time. Not just the visage, but after a while, started taking on the personage of Wendy Wright, his old dissertation chair, one of his old professors. You guys began to investigate, and you went back to Barb's place. You encountered some demons, who seemed to be pretty helpful. And you know what? I think I can say without fear of contradiction, continue to assume that all demons are going to do well by you. That is...
Everybody's helped us.
I think that
nice.
is a
Axel.
reliable and, and I'm not going to give you a guarantee, but I'm going to say, just keep doing that, and I'm sure it'll keep going well. That's
No
from
problem.
That's from me to you. Handler player dynamic aside, just know that Joe wants you to continue to talk to demons. You guys, after a while, decided that you kind of needed to escape Boston. You need to get the hell out of here. The heat was way too high. There was this huge manhunt out for you guys. But you guys also discovered that there was something going on in Chicago. Something had gone on. You ran up against this name Victor Carell, who's on a bottle that you found in Marbs' house. And you kind of began to track it down. It seems like that there was some incursion of the unnatural there that seems to maybe have been cleaned up by Delta Green, and you guys decided to run that down. On your way to Chicago, you guys got pulled over. I'm sorry, before I forget, there was something that Hank had observed, which is that there were some construction workers and other kind of the NPCs of the world. Some of them appear to be very much like in a play, people reading lines and pantomiming actions. That seems like more and more that the world that you know is like the fucking Truman Show. That more and more that you're beginning to see behind the back stages of people playing their parts. You guys escaped Boston, and we're relieved to find that it seems that the manhunt is not nearly as extreme outside of Boston. You probably should still be careful, but not nearly extreme. You guys get pulled over by some cops. You determine that even they are not real cops. And, I rolled some luck rolls. We did a few different things. You guys managed to gun down these two fake cops with an AK-47 on the side of a highway, and roll them into the back of your van before a car came by. And those were all rolls of the dice. You guys got away with that, and you left, disposed of their bodies. And then one of the things you guys did is you reached out to another demon. And unbeknownst to you guys at the time, the voice at the other end of the line was none other than Axel Armstrong, this individual who has been tracking you, who's been tracking for Delta Green. You met him in a green box. A green box, that is a Delta Green cache of supplies and information. You guys find him there waiting for you, and he tells you that he's going to leave, and that he that before Delta Green basically gets wind that he's here. And you get this implication that Axel is both in Delta Green, but he's also a demon. Is he playing his part? Is that what he's doing? And I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that is about where we left off. Am I wrong on that? Or did something else happen?
we watched the VHS that was...
Oh, that's right. The VHS. Yes, that was found in the green box. You guys then watched this as we ended. You guys watched this VHS, and you saw this young man, this Victor Carell, come out on the stage, introduce this play that he is doing for like a film project, or this movie that he did. And what you see, and this is back in 2007, and what you see is this, what it becomes very, very apparent, especially to Benji, but I remember the other two of you at this point. It becomes very apparent that this is a kind of, live action showing of the King in Yellow. And that all these people, including none other than T-Model Ford, for whatever reason, why ever he's there, were exposed. And right at the end, you see 3 figures suddenly rush from behind the stage, run out into the crowd, who are then followed by these gas mask-wearing, shotgun-wielding, trench coat-wearing agents who burst out and begin to shoot, seemingly, into the crowd.
Did you say there were 3 figures that were pretty much run off the stage by the gas mask guys?
Yeah. So, and that is where you guys left off, which was standing here. Again, you're in a rather small concrete room underneath a grain silo, like a hidden compartment underneath this thing. You guys are standing here as you hear the VHS hit the end, and the screen kind of goes to static. But you guys are all standing here.
Can we play it back? Let's play that back. Wait, I want to play that back. I want to look at that more closely. I want to do something to do that. This is Benedict speaking, by the way.
Okay.
Raspy.
Yeah, we know your name, brother. We've been hanging out for a while now.
Slightly British South African voice
By the way,
comes in and out. I've got sinus things.
By the way, guys, this is Benedict speaking.
This is Benedict. This is not Jan.
And this is Benji speaking to Benedict.
I want to see if we can see who those people were. Were you able to see who those people were that ran away? Those 3 people.
I think that you're gonna have to roll me something, and you're gonna have to do pretty well on it. Again, like this is a VHS. The focus of the camera is on the screen. Like it's literally like, at some point in time, it's got like a wide angle, and you can see some of the people in the audience. But as the screening actually starts, they zoom in on the screen, and so like as these figures kind of go by, they're out of focus. They're closer to the lens than the actual focus is. Roll me something.
What about some art?
Ooh.
He's an artiste. Yes.
You can roll art. Your art is in journalism, so that's not really appropriate.
But
you can take a negative 20 to that if you want.
Fine. Sold. Success.
Jesus.
Nice.
6 under 45.
645. All right. Yeah, you are able to, as you see these figures roll by, and like maybe you're, it's one of these old school CRT TVs with the VHS player built into it, like in the bottom of it, and so you're like using the buttons there on the bottom of the TV to try to almost try to go frame by frame, and it's really hard. Like you're really fiddling with it. You are able at some point in time. I think at some point in time you are able to make out, probably not the faces of these individuals, but there at some point in time there is a bit where one of these, like maybe the second one in line, goes by and maybe the light just perfectly kind of hits and there's this sheen and you're able to kind of back and forth over a few frames are able to see that is definitely whoever is running. It appears that they have a gun in their hand and a badge on their belt. That you could just barely make that out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hank will assume the worst, and that was,
Yeah, we're
us running from the
stuck in a time loop.
the dragon or the whatever it's called, the clown, when we were running through all those scenes, and like the scenes were reality, but then they're just backdrops, and
I don't know if we passed anything like that.
What if it's a clue? What if it's Michael Whitwer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's interesting though. Is this something that hasn't come up for a while? Is Whitwer, Whitwer and the other members of his team, whose names I do not remember right off the top of my head right now.
Well, Hank will roll something to see if he can distinguish what branch of law enforcement this is. Maybe alertness. Not really alertness. Let's see.
How's your forensics?
Is it really forensics, though? It's more of...
what are you trying to figure out, is my question.
what kind of badge it is.
Oh, okay. All right, what about either criminology, maybe bureaucracy? I would let you do those skills raw. If you're just going to use an alertness, I think you're going to take another negative.
All right, I'll do criminology.
Okay. Tell me what you get.
Failed. 67 over 60.
I mean, it's a shield. Lots of badges are shields. It's not. You're not gonna get anything there. So.
Well,
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel crossover.
It's an agent. It's been a long time coming, guys. We finally have done it.
well,
No.
I don't know about you, Benji, but I feel like we can safely assume this is what we are driving to Chicago to get.
Yeah, I guess so. What was T-Model's role in the video? What was he doing?
He appears to be like, there's a bit at the very beginning where you can barely make out the back of his kind of head, or maybe he turns just enough to kind of see him. He's a person in the audience, and they like roll his wheelchair up there towards the front. There's like, a spot for a wheelchair, okay. So he's pretty much front and center. So, yeah.
Well,
I think, frankly,
y'all got a plan?
Frankly, I'm frankly tired of running. Seeing this video here, I didn't have, maybe I let my emotions get the best of me when we decided to flee Boston. But I'm tired of all of this nonsense. We have to find this hotel and end this. And frankly, I think we should start by burning down that little play set of a PlayStation we saw back in the field a couple miles back.
That's right. You guys, after seeing these fake cops, and one of them had in their, like in a shirt pocket or something, had the address for this place, which is, again, like the cops, like their uniforms, their car just says like state police. And it's like, if you don't, I mean, that looks fine, from a casual observer. But even this building, it looks like a weird IKEA type building. Like it looks like it's very square. It's like it just like on first glance, yes, it looks like it might be a weird police building out in the middle of nowhere. But it is, and I think that you guys had actually observed at the front was not a person, but a mannequin dressed as a human.
And then we saw 3 agents in gas masks walking across the road into the forest beyond.
Right. The same people that you saw the same people you saw in the video. Or the same dressed. You don't know if these are same individuals. But, the same kind of set up.
I mean, part of me, maybe we have to play some. Obviously, these demons we've been interacting with has been talking about playing a part. Maybe if we could get a script, even, well, that would be the King in Yellow, presumably.
Yeah.
And reading that hasn't gone too well. I don't know, but Frank,
Traditionally.
Are you suggesting getting a literal walkthrough? Because that would be great. We could just cut straight to the core of the problem.
well,
This is about how much
I
I spent on like Fallout before I went through a walkthrough. It's like upwards of 120 hours. Like, you know what? I'm not doing great. It's time for a walkthrough.
Yeah. At some point in
Well,
time, you
but
just need to
I guess-
admit that, like, we can't do this on our own.
Hank is just kind of like irritated. I think he has his wits about him a little bit more. He's not as frazzled by this, seemingly everyone around him going through. He's kind of shaking off the paranoia about a little bit, and he wants to get to the core of this. And I think, frankly, it'd be irresponsible for us not to check out that IKEA police station. And I would like to burn it down.
I don't know. No, I'm not with you, Hank. I'm still not with you on this one. You wanted to go. What is your fixation with this place? Why do you want to go into this death trap?
I don't want to, but frankly, I'm tired of running in circles.
I think we're on our way. It's like that Journey song. You
Never heard of them.
go your
wheel
own
in the sky.
way.
That's
Oh,
Fleetwood
no.
Mac. Now I know that one.
That's that Fleetwood. Yes, your people call it Fleetwood Mac. I call it Journey.
Is that how that works? we don't call them that here.
Yeah. But I think we're on track. I think Axel, he's given us a surge of confidence. He's given us this. I think we're on track. We just got to get to this theater. Let's give it a bit of let's look around. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we run into the next thing that we need to do. I think as much as possible, we need to avoid the people who look to be putting us on the track, on the play. And as much as possible, I just want to keep believing that we have some free will. And I think my free will says the play is, the theater is where we got to go.
That's the problem. We don't know what that is. I'm all for it. I think we all have the same objective, but we very well can't just drive down this country road and hope for the best.
Benji?
All right, let's split up. Hank, you can go investigate that IKEA building, and Benedict, you go find the theater, and I'll go find Hotel Brought album.
That'll work out.
Shake
We've
out
got-
just fine.
As you guys
We've got
are
2 cars.
as you guys are having this conversation, you hear again. You guys are down these kind of concrete steps in this like kind of small concrete room underneath this old grain silo. Your car is parked outside. You heard Axel leave in the party wagon, and you hear the sounds of, and there's like gravel kind of, and you hear the sounds of crunching gravel. And I don't know which one of you hears it. Probably Hank, he has the highest alertness, is probably the first one to hear it. But if Hank like shushes you guys, you hear someone crunching slowly. And
Yeah, Hank will kind of like give a signal and like reach for his holster.
you hear the
Have we
sound of
rested in this green box? Can we
Say
click
that
our
again?
checks? Have we rested in the green box?
Oh no.
Have we slept? No.
No.
Okay.
After that spooky video, we're getting massacred.
You
We
what?
don't know
Let's
how
take a-
long the video was. It could have been 8 hours. Could have been an extended play VHS.
A good 8 hours.
it's a 3-box set of the fucking play.
Shogun.
You
Okay,
you hear this
so
crunch.
I get the silence pistols ready. Axel's silence pistol.
Okay, you hear this crunch,
On my
crunch,
body.
crunch outside, and then you hear a muffled kind of. You hear some people. They sound to be talking low, but it sounds muffled. It's hard to make out. Anyone who wants to give me an alertness check can, let's see if you can make out specifically what's being said.
Let's all do. I think we're all listening. So
I think you all are, to be frank.
alert, man. I just failed it. Fumble for Benedict and failure for Benji.
Wow.
We all failed.
Failure, fumble, failure.
You all fail.
wow.
Mark that failure
That's
if
a
you haven't
fail and a
already.
fumble.
But you guys, so you guys hear this downstairs, and you hear.
Joe, to be fair, I fumbled. I want to draw attention to that.
Don't worry, I'll punish you.
Okay, I'm just checking. Just checking.
He's so
I
eager.
want to play the game fair. I want to
Sticks
see.
an ice
like-
pick in his ear. Just fucking brains himself.
His,
Uncontrollably laughs.
Yeah,
his
you
Catholic nature is coming out.
punish me. You hear the sound of upstairs, that door to the silo. You hear it. You hear it ease open, and maybe even outside. Maybe when you guys came in here, it was pretty late in the evening. Maybe you can just barely see a shadow being cast down. And it's the shadow of someone pushing open the door with something long and, something long and cylindrical looking. They're pushing, easing the door open with it. And you see a figure come through, and the figure is not of a normal human face, but of a human with a gas mask.
Oh, shit.
He's coming down the stairs.
The door eases open.
I would signal
stay
just to
hidden.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide in this box, I presume, but
No.
we can go around. Hank would be like, here's the door. He'd be on either side of on one side of the,
Yeah.
door.
Trying
There's
to
only
ease
one
into the-
door.
There's one door. There's no way in and out outside this door.
But Hank will also pull his pistol all the way out.
Right.
Yeah. Benedict's got a trained. Yeah.
What guns can we assume we have on us? Would we have left the AK in the van?
I think that you guys came down here not expecting to fight Axel. I think you kind of would have come down here with your sidearms.
Okay.
And then it sounds like Benedict has picked up the weapon that was down here as well, which is another silenced pistol.
With the engraving on it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys wait, and you guys wait for a long time. And after a while, after a minute, like it seems like the figure might be about to head down, and then you hear from behind it there is a muffled. Hold on just a second. Let me look at something. There is the muffled sound of. You hear the sound of one of the other muffled voices. They say, it's like, I'm going to try to do this in a way that both picks up, but also relates how kind of muffled it sounds. It's like, Carter, get your head in the fucking game. And you see the head in the shadow. You see it snap back. And you hear him respond with, yeah, I got it. And he closes the door. And they move. You hear the sounds of them moving
Carter?
away. Carter.
That's what I heard.
Do we know a Carter?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I don't think we do.
Can I do a raw intelligence check to see if that's pinging, firing off in any way?
You can.
Success 51 under 60.
So here's what I'm going to do. So we are using Roll20. And because we're using Roll20, the way Roll20 works, for those who have never used it, there are certain pages that people can be sat on. And the landing page with all the information from, say, Chapter 1 is on a different page. So there's some information from the way these guys had kind of done their murder board from Season 1 when they were in the McAllister building. That is it's going to be difficult for them to access. So it's one of those things like, this is one of those real life playing issues. Like, I don't want to hold them accountable for things that they have made notes for, or I know they've encountered. I don't want to punish them for not having a perfect real life murder board, because significant others and whatnot tend to get a little weirded out by that. So don't want to bring that to their life. That being said, you only remember one Carter. So one Carter that you recall. Back in 1995, you guys ran through. You entered the night floors, and while there, you witnessed some men running from some gas-masked figures. When you examined that, you found that, and you heard some gunshots, and you actually came across what looked like some mannequins that looked like they had been shot, quote unquote shot. They had this theatrical, like, red tissue paper spilling out of them, and they had IDs and information on them. One of them was, I believe, Ronald Burbach, and the other one was Eric K. Carter. And with your successful intelligence roll, that is what Hank Ellis recalls.
This was on the ID on the mannequin.
Yeah.
And that's all we ever looked up about him.
Yeah.
Should we ambush these guys and interrogate them?
Well,
Benedict
I don't.
would be
I
quiet at this point.
Hank would. I mean, we're trying to be quiet. I don't think Hank would think this is an advantageous situation for us at this point.
To be trapped in a hole.
Right.
Although that's the last thing they'd expect, to be ambushed from a box.
But
that's one of the elements of the offense is audaciousness. So an audacious attack has advantage.
Defense is the preparation of offense.
What are we gonna do?
What are you gonna do, guys?
Hank would be, if he could whisper, Hank would say, "Let's wait it out. Maybe we can track him."
Is the door still open?
He seemed to have closed it behind him.
Hank would wait an appropriate amount of time for silence, and then ease up to try to ease up out cautiously of this green box.
Yeah, I would say that you can probably do that. You probably don't have to wait that long. You get there before you... Again, they kind of close the door, so it's kind of harder to hear. But after a while, you feel like you don't... you wait probably 10 minutes. It's like you don't know if your chances are going to get any better, right? So, yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Wait for it to be silent, or I hear them walk away, and then ease up out of the green box to the door and look outside.
Okay. Yeah,
Hank,
go ahead.
Benedict quickly taps him on the shoulder before he's about to leave. Says, Hank, take this. And he gives him Axel's gun, the silenced one.
Okay, yeah.
Hank spins it in his arm, his hand, like a sharpshooter.
Like a cowboy.
It goes off wildly. 5 shots in random directions.
The hell are you doing, Hank?
Yeah.
Trying to be cool.
Oh, okay. Carry on.
So, but it's a silenced pistol, so it's not loud. It's just this would be a good time to make you roll to see who you shoot in the foot, but we're not going to do that. Okay.
I didn't really do that.
Do you want to ease up there to the door and try to tactically open it, be stealthy?
Exactly.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check. Let's see what you get.
Success 6 under 40.
Okay.
Nice.
You are able to, Hank has a tactical background. He gets up there, and kind of slices the pie. Maybe the door's open just a crack, and you're able to kind of slice the pie around this to kind of get a pretty wide view. You don't see anyone, and then you're able to, ease the door open enough for you to just kind of satisfy yourself, and you feel like these guys are gone.
Hank will do an alertness check to see if he can, before he calls the guys up, to see if he can see into the surrounding forest, or even if there's any tracks to lead us to where they went. I don't know if there's anything specifically for tracking outside of alertness on this.
I think it would probably be alertness, unless you could give me a different skill for it, like if you were like a reconnaissance guy. You know,
failure.
like, you don't find any. Oddly enough, you don't find any evidence that these guys were here, and that's all well and good. And you fail that check, and about that time, you see. You're standing there kind of looking around. Maybe you're kind of like crouched down. And I imagine this. I imagine from behind Hank, we're looking at Hank. He's crouched down. He's got his hand. He's like, is that a footprint there? He's kind of trying to look at that. And Hank, your head is coming up and your eyes are rising up as one of these trench coat figures steps from behind the van.
Gee.
Oh, shit.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. He's
eating cereal.
He has what looks like an M1 Garand, like a World War II Korea era rifle, down at the ready. You see that he has an old school like ammo pouch underneath his trench coat. He crunch, and he looks. First, he's looking away from you. He's looking the opposite direction, and his head turns, and you hear that sound that as him breathing through the filter of his mask. And as his eyes turn, and you can see through the clear, you can just make out maybe through just the whatever light is barely remaining. And he has one of those elbow shaped, those right angled lights, like clipped to his jacket that is illuminating as he goes. And you're just able to see the yellow signs that are engraved over the lenses of his gas mask.
Oh, shit.
And he turns, and his eyes fall on you. And he stops.
Hank will...
And you guys are just standing there.
Hank will almost make a friendly... He'll have, like... He won't go straight for his gun, but he'll be like, whoa now, and hold up his hand like this and be like... friendly or something like, he'll he won't be aggressive.
All right.
Benji looks over at Benedict, makes eye contact, and slowly closes the door. Locks it.
I imagine Benedict's like shaking his head up and down, like,
Benedict
yes.
nods. It's like,
It's too late for him.
It's his time.
But he'll try to make contact and be like, hold up now, partner.
The eyes, as your hand raises up.
Extra weapons ready downstairs. Like, we're getting weapons ready.
Yeah. I imagine you guys would have been behind Hank on the stairs.
Okay.
Like, that would have been the reasonable thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hank, you're there. You're like on one knee, and you're like holding your hand up, like, hold on. This guy who's got the absolute drop on you. And you realize that something's not right in the eyes, that you're not sure it's like he's not even really looking at you. And then his head turns back the other way as he scans around. And again, like comically, like a cartoon, like multiple men shouldn't be fitting behind this van. Like not in the way it's parked. Another one comes out. This one wearing a big, clunky, square, like massive radio on his back. Like this huge, probably weighs like 50, 70 pounds. Comes up and steps beside the other one and says, again, muffled, "Come on, we have to catch up with the others." And
Hank will stand and just kind of like stand up. And do they notice me Hank? So they can't see me.
They appear to not notice you. And about that time, you hear one of them as they turn and begin to walk back, kind of out onto the back of the country road into the darkness. And you're just barely able to hear. I don't think, out of any of them, The Farthington one's probably the easiest to find, right? You know, as they walk off into the darkness, Hank, you standing there, heart beating hard in your chest, pounding up into your throat, as you watch these two figures that apparently, and maybe they turn back and look, and they just look right through you. And they just pass out into the night, and maybe you hear the crunch, crunch, crunch of gravel, and crunch, crunch. Nothing.
What the shit?
Hank will be like, "You're not gonna." He'll go back to the door and be like, "Y'all aren't gonna
The door's
believe
locked.
this." Let me in.
Who is it? What's the password?
You know goddamn well who this is. Open the door.
Yeah, Hank has no fucking room for jokes right now.
We were behind you, so I think we heard everything.
Okay, well, he'll just
Benedict.
basically describe what happened. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
think these. Who's Farthington? Sorry,
That's me.
that's your last name.
That's
That's
Benedict.
Benedict's last name.
Yeah.
And he'll say that he heard them say
Why?
that.
Is it because I'm fat? is,
Are you canonically overweight?
is that why? Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty big. Especially as he got
Well,
older.
you guys are gotten older, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a big belly. That's deeply distressing, and he makes a mental note to go and do some exercise when he gets.
That's your takeaway. I should work out more.
I need to work out more.
No, Ben, I don't think it was quite so clear cut as that. They even seem to move behind objects in an odd way. It's like they're part in our world and part somewhere else.
Yeah, possible crossover with the night floors. Might be in a thin area.
So
Something,
our covers
Hank-
are clearly not really intact.
Hank,
No more matador.
part of me wonders if they're truly though. Part of me wonders if they're obviously trying to find us, but I wonder if it's for malicious intentions or could they be friendlies of some sort from somewhere else? I don't know.
Did you tell us about the yellow sign on
True.
the goggles?
Yeah, I told you about. True that's not normally a good thing.
Hot take.
Can I do a quick search for Eric Carter?
You're gonna have to sell that one to me.
Oh right, sorry, no, Hank made that connection. Never
Right.
mind.
Yeah.
What do we do? Should we follow him?
You know,
I think
follow
they're
these
gone.
guys, get the jump on them.
Like I said, Hank is kind of like frustrated. Like he's got his wits about him. He's not so paranoid anymore. He's like, he wants to take action, and maybe Benedict sold him on not completely destroying that police station. But I got the feeling that they are separate from these mannequin police. Like maybe they didn't even see them, or that didn't even register with them. I would be game to follow them or attempt to, for sure.
Got a nose like a bloodhound. I can smell a car kosher from a mile away. Let me take a whiff.
Just need to get that scent.
Okay, we can try. I don't think I don't think we're gonna see anybody. Let's go. Are we going in the cars?
I mean, I'm not completely
Or are we going
sold
on
on
foot?
that. They probably went into the forest. Where did I see them go, Joe? Into forest? Like we'd have
They
to-
kind of walked again, at this silo. There's like one small light, and this looks like this thing is probably not used. And it's a miracle this light bulb is even burning anymore. And there's just really enough light to kind of, and now it's starting to get pretty dark. And they kind of walked back down towards this country road and kind of disappeared out into nothing. And again, it wasn't like they walked off the road. They're fucking gone.
Oh, it was like almost like a disappeared, almost like a mirage type
Yeah.
situation.
Well, shit.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a sanity check for me. Actually, that'd be,
Shit.
be a good time for that. That's
Just Hank?
yeah.
Critical one.
Oh, you're fine.
Nice.
Saner than ever.
You've seen
Steady
weirder shit.
Hank.
Well, so you guys are out in the middle of nowhere. I think we had said previously that I can't remember what state we had said you were in. I think we said you were like, what? I don't remember. God, I don't know the U.S. geography well. I can't remember where we said you were, but you're like out in the middle of, the country, right? I think we'd said you're in Indiana, right? And you're really out in the middle of nowhere, and you guys were heading towards Chicago. That being said, actually, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give you something additional now for the VHS that you guys watched. Something that from Benedict that maybe as you guys are kind of thinking like, well, where we want to go, what do we want to do? Benedict, you think that they're actually, like, thinking back, you think that you might actually be able to find, or maybe they had said on the VHS, the name of the theater where this thing had been shown.
Ah, yes. That classic time in every campaign where the clueless players are... We have forced his hand.
Evidence
to
pinata
clue.
pops up.
It's the pinata. Everyone gets one hit. No takesy backsies. So yeah.
And what's the name of it?
It's the Golden Clown Theater.
For real.
Yes.
Well,
What do you guys think about going to the theater? Looks like we got a heading.
Perhaps there's something
I
we
think
could.
we should keep digging.
So go there.
Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm trying. I didn't know
okay.
what a Benedict meant by keep digging. If he was agreeing,
Let's keep digging. We keep following the clues.
there are
out of
many to
character,
follow.
it sounds like this is kind of what we need to do. I don't know. I feel like we're flying without a radar here. If we go to that compound, like, what's the best that we can get out of that? Some night floor situation? Possibly have to deal with dudes with shotguns?
Out is through.
Well, there's something
relief.
interesting that was said. I think it was said by Dace, and it's a combination of things. But something that Dace had said, not so much Benji, but Dace, which was this idea of when in the video these guys they come out and they start blasting into the crowd. And there was a question, it's like, are these guys some type of weird cleanup team for Delta Green? Are they also some weird Delta Green people? But then also something Brad just said about, like, is this a place, or who said that this might be a place that's thin, that this might be, the night floors might be spilling over.
Yeah, that's that.
That these guys that you're seeing, because you've seen them other places. You have. So I don't know
And
how
it's three of them
informed-
always.
You're unsure. You've definitely seen at least three. I think that I'd said with this patrol that you guys had seen previously, that there were, I think, 4 or 5.
All right, we know. We can come back to the spot. We know where it is if we need to on our way back. But let's head to the theater.
Yep, agreed.
Road trip.
Yeah. So it's
How
about
does it take to get
Okay,
from
wow.
Indiana, Chicago?
It's about 3 hours where you guys are. And at this point in time, I believe it to be pretty late, because it was about, last thing I had was 7 o'clock on September the 18th. It was a Friday. So you guys are gonna, and it's gonna get to the point where you guys do need to find somewhere to rest. You need to find either, you could sleep in the van, or whatever. I do have one question, kind of logistically. Are you guys taking this cop car with you?
Driving to a lake.
Yeah, I would want to try ditch it somewhere
Okay.
Okay.
along the way.
Center block on the pedal.
And just kind of, you could probably find something. You know.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much effort. Like,
Right.
just ditch it somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable. You guys can abandon it, you know, or you can torch it, or you can drive it into a pond or somewhere and just
wherever. Yeah, I'll torch it somewhere, but I do want to do one last search on it to see if there's anything left in there that we haven't found.
And Benedict wants to try and grab the scanner if it's loose.
Oh, well, that's the thing. This is not a real police car. So, like, the scanner is something that has literally been sat up on the dashboard, right?
So there's some sticky tag.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It's like taped.
All right,
in
I'm gonna
place.
take that scanner.
Okay, yeah. The
Failed my
Janus
search.
is getting kitted out.
The jam is getting kitted. RPG is next on my shopping list.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you don't find anything else specific or terribly useful. You don't think so?
All right.
Okay. All right, so you guys are going to head. It's like I said, it's going to take you probably 2-3 hours. So by the time you guys kind of get to the outskirts, we're going to say it's probably 10, 11 o'clock at night at this juncture, given everything else that you guys have done in between. It's pretty late. So,
Let's find a motel.
okay. Find how on the sketchometer, between 10 being the sketchiest, seediest place possible, and 0 being like, you know, the Ritz-Carlton.
Let's go for 11.
You want to go straight to 11 on the sketchometer?
Straight to the bottom.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to go
That's
straight
like
to the top of the bottom.
We park, but we don't sleep in the car. We just sleep in the alley next to the car.
I don't even want to go through the front desk. I want to sublet a room from a prostitute.
Sublet one. All right. Yeah, you. We don't have to play that out super good, but you guys can definitely go in. You guys still doing an all cash thing, or are we using plastic?
Sure.
No, all cash.
Cash. Okay, well, great. That's all they take here.
Or-
They don't even take plastic at this particular place. It's that sketchy. They don't even give people the option. You are able to. They only have single beds. You're able to find yourself a little sketchy motel where the second you go in, you can smell the things that have happened in this room.
Oh no!
Like it's.
I'll take the
Roll a
floor.
sanity check.
Before Hank goes to sleep, he's going to do a Google search on this Carter.
Okay. A Google search, huh? What kind of skill do you think you would use to make a Google search, or to just do searches for stuff like this?
Let's see.
Bureaucracy or search. That's gonna be my
Yeah.
word.
I guess straight up search. Even though that might be more pertaining to like a physical search than a bureaucracy. Maybe it'd be better. More. I'll do that.
No. You tell me. Okay, you're gonna do bureaucracy.
Yep.
All right. Tell me what you're doing.
Success 37 under 48.
All right. You're able to comb through some old stuff, or maybe even like, you know, I imagine, you know, Hank thinks back to that moment where he was standing there. I mean, literally, as far as you could tell at first, there was definitely this idea that you were almost nose to nose with this individual who had to drop on you with a rifle. You know, like, I mean, just I think tactically thinking, I think that Hank just like knows that, God, that was not going to go well, kind of thing. But as you're thinking, or as you're sitting here and you're thinking about, you're like, well, something is interesting in that these individuals, these weapons they all have, they're much older. M1 Garands, M1 carbines, even these shotguns. You know, these are trench guns. These aren't shotguns. These are old school trench guns, probably from the 40s, probably World War II, you know, or Korea era at the absolute most. You know, and you're thinking about that, and you figure out, you're like, well, I think I'm going to try to look further back, right? And so that's what you do. You find that I don't know exactly where you find it. Maybe you find the briefest of mentions. Maybe you find like what is that thing you put in the newspaper when someone dies? What is that called?
Obituary.
An obituary. You find an obituary. You find an obituary for an Eric Carter, right? When you do so, you find that apparently Eric Carter was a what do you call it? A veteran of World War II, and you are very surprised to see that Eric Carter apparently was a part of the what is it? The Office of Strategic Services, which is like a predating the kind of the CIA or even the FBI, and you see that this obituary that it says that he was missing and never recovered. That he's basically pronounced dead, or determined to be dead by the fact that he had been missing for a few years.
Shit. Maybe. I guess, does Hank tell us this?
Yeah.
But that's all you can find. Like, you can't really find anything else besides he's apparently some type of old school federal cop, federal officer of some type.
It seems this man's been in some form of the night floors for a very long time. With his crew, no less.
What if this fellow was part of some sort of like archaic Delta Green? Maybe he's a corrupted agent.
Why are we seeing him now?
That's a good question.
Time is weird in the night floors. It could still be World War II to him.
I
Well,
don't know. Where the hell would a night floors? The way we understand the night floors is like rooms and channels. What? This is out in the forest, Benji.
there was that metaphor of the twin planets, or the twin suns, and us getting closer and closer to this singularity, so to speak, of worlds.
Ooh, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah.
The barriers are breaking down between our world and theirs. Some areas are bound to get thin or flat circle.
About that time, Hank, Benji is kind of starting to mumble to himself about flat circles and stuff as he does. It's just kind of becoming part and parcel with this whole thing.
It's his thing.
And Hank, you make your way over to, everyone's kind of getting ready to kind of crash out. I don't know if I assume all three of you are not spooning in the bed. I assume that you're going to spread things out a little bit.
It's not a night for spooning.
Not tonight, guys. But Hank, you ease over and you pull back the curtain a little bit to kind of gaze out. You're always kind of on guard. You've got the lock put on the door, and you've got a chair put under the door, and you just kind of quickly peek out. As Benji's, this conversation's going on. Primarily between Bennett and Benji. And Hank, you see something across the street, and it takes a minute for your eyes, for your brain, to actually connect what you're looking at. My damn dogs. And as you do, you see across the street is a bus stop. And at the one, can you guys hear that? Or is it?
No, it's not bad.
Holy shit.
It's not too bad.
It's going to come through.
Is it loud, yours?
Hold on. It's going to come through on my thing. Hold on.
Okay, we've gone full circle. Like Joe's dogs are actually in Delta Green. It's what Hank sees on the other side of the road.
Take the story
There's a tiny
over.
Chihuahua. What are the
GM's gone.
what are the dogs?
Let's
What are we gonna do?
Let's get Joe's dogs in game
It's
and
gotta-
hold them
sorry, I have to
hostage.
go out.
I'm gonna.
We got
No, they are.
I'm gonna have to.
We got your dogs,
We run after
asshole.
the dogs. We
Benji's
run
got
after
a pistol
them
to your dog's head.
No,
What now, GM?
you. You guys,
Come
Hank.
on, blow Winston's brain out, asshole.
No. Brad, or not Brad.
and give us the walk.
Hank looks out.
us the goddamn
Hank looks out
walkthrough.
the window. There's a bus stop, and standing beside the bus stop is a man. And the reason it takes you so long, I mean, like, Lily, you probably have to look at it for probably a solid 5 seconds, which is a long time when you think about it, to just really figure out what something is. Like, Hank, like, you stop, you're like, what the hell? Because this man, from about his knees up to the top of his head, is completely ablaze. He
Jesus.
is a conflagration. He is shedding light out probably 20 feet. It's like someone has poured gasoline over him and has lit him on fire. And the worst part about it is that he is not thrashing. He is not running around. He appears to be having a genuine belly laugh as he stands there
that's creepy.
completely ablaze. He, at some point in time, he even bends down and slaps his knee at the hilarity of this situation. And about that time, a bus comes up and comes to a stop. The door opens, and the man gets on board. He gets on board, seems to hand something to the bus driver as the smoke begins to fill the entirety of the bus. And the bus is full of people. It's like a late night, like a Greyhound. And soon the bus too begins to catch fire, and everyone on the bus just sits there. They just sit as the whole thing begins to become just immolated. And by the time the bus is beginning to pull away from the station, the glass is starting to break from the heat inside the bus itself. You can even see that the kind of comically the bus driver tends to kind of fans himself a little bit, like, oh, a little balmy in here, as the bus moves away from the station. Does Hank have any military science or history, or does he call anyone else's attention to this? It probably takes about 30 seconds in total for it to all play out.
You kind of, I don't think so. I think he'd sit more in
He
disbelief.
just kind of stands there. He's like,
Yes.
what's your...
Benji, when you mean circle, do you mean sphere?
Oh, yeah, well, it's that, but it's flat, though.
Flat sphere. I see.
Yeah.
Make me a military science or a history check for Hank.
Oh, this is an event that has happened at some point. Okay, I'll do a history check. Failed.
Oh, just.
You
13.
can see that the
Over
individual appears to be wearing some type of uniform, but it looks foreign to you. You can't make it out. As this burning bus slides off into the night. You have no idea how far it's going to get. And as Hank slowly closes the blind back to where it was. Go ahead and make that sanity check again. I want you to know, I'm not piling these on Hank on purpose. I rolled a dice to see who was going to go to the window.
I saw that.
Critical. 30,
Another
30.
critical success.
Yeah.
How does Hank just say to himself, you know what? Nope.
Well, I
Nope.
think, like I said, he's been kind of going back and forth between this paranoia, and he likes his mindset right now. Like, he has a focus. We got to get to this hotel, and he's going to try to just hone in on that. He's like, can't go back to that fearful state of paranoia and try to lock in that sense.
Nice.
Yeah. I think
Just
after...
like, oh hell no.
I
You
think
know,
after,
he reckoned-
after two critical successes on sanity checks, go ahead and take 4 willpower back if you need any.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm full.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
You're full?
Can I-
Okay.
You know who my favorite DM is?
So yeah.
But
yeah.
I am still on. Okay, I will put. I know I can't get this back, but when we rest, do we get any HP back? Because I'm still at 8.
Yes, you'll get the
Under 50.
opportunity.
Okay.
We'll manage that. But so yeah, Hank just kind of closes it as like is like
Hank?
I think we should go to sleep.
Come settle something for us. We need a sphere and circle. What's your opinion? Sphere or circle?
About that time, you guys eventually
Just the most banal
go to sleep.
contrast.
You guys rest up for the night and turn in, and you're here on the outskirts of Chicago, And my guys, I think this is probably a good place for us to stop for this one.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
Weird.
Sort of nice.
Sort of nice. But yeah, guys, thank you, as always.
Back at you.
That was fun.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone watching.
We got Pumpkin Cake, as usual.
Always
He
pumpkin.
subscribed to Tier 1.
Oh, thank you, Punk.
Hey, yo.
And we had a
Appreciate
Zachy
Thank you.
T22 that commented, "Yep."
Oh,
I'm not
Just
sure
yep.
what he
What
went.
you up to?
Yep.
could you clarify?
They're at it again. Yep.
Yep. No, I imagine like maybe that's what Hank says as he's watching out the blinds. Yep.
Through the window.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about
And
right.
closes the burning spot.
Yeah. Yeah, but all right, guys. Hey, everyone listening, everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. If you really like what you're listening, hey, head over, give us a positive review or whatever on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're seeing it. If you really like it, you want to get these in a week early, hit us up on Patreon. It's linked wherever you're listening or watching. And consider supporting us. It really helps. We have gotten more than a few questions about possibly a Greenbox Gaming Discord. It's actually something that just came up again on Patreon. Something Nathan, who was given us some stuff to talk about previously, said he was talking about Brad, talking about, because Brad's going to be doing music from a darkened room as a side campaign or as a side operation, something that he's looking into doing. Nathan said, "Great choice on music from a darkened room. It's a classic. Enjoyed hearing about." Hearing from the folks about on reverberations, which is something we did on the Patreon exclusive Sandy check. Jean did a great job handling and keeping the game on course through some incredibly
thank you.
unlucky
And I would
die
say
rolls.
to the audience, if nothing else, listen to it for the end, the most epic battle at the end that we've had yet.
So good. But something else that Nathan said was have y'all pondered more on a Discord server for the fans? So it's something we've heard from 2 or 3 different places. If we're already looking down that way. If you're listening, if you're watching, and that interests you, come over on Reddit or come over to our Twitter or something, and link wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, and let us know if you're interested in that. If you would like a place for the fans to hang out and talk about this, and a place where maybe we can show up every now and then and kind of interact with you guys, give us an opportunity to interact with the fans. But
This should be like a continuous text channel where it's just like, okay, gotcha.
for people with similar interest to hang out, right? I'm sure that
live stream myself sleeping every night.
I'll join that. I'm a subscribe right there.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to
Gotta
join
give 'em
him
what they
sleeping at
want.
night.
No. I'm going to be watching.
That's
I'm
a
going
whole
to
other
take
thing.
turns. It's going to be on rotation.
But everyone,
Pretty.
we appreciate you so much, our patrons who let us do this. And they get that content, and they get it a week early. But guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
For those live, we'll be right back. We're going to take a break and come back and do some more. And for those who are listening later, thank you so much. Catch us next time. And remember, everyone, as always, please stay safe and stay sane. Bye.
Goodbye.
Later.
Au revoir.